So I started getting into Japanese knives probably a couple years ago. Probably a couple years ago, a lot. I've always had, I've had a shun knife for probably, you know, a couple different shun knives for maybe almost 10 years now. But I started getting really into them because I didn't understand them at first. And then I bought this one shun knife that was they call it a Deba. And I tried to use it for, you know, cutting vegetables, and I was like, man, this knife really sucks. And I just didn't understand it, didn't use it, so I put it away. It was a nice knife too. And then for some reason, a couple years back, I was reading about it, and I was like, okay, I gotta figure out how to use this knife, because it's obviously, I'm doing something wrong, I'm the idiot. So then I found out it was a butcher knife, and it's for cutting meat and fish. And I was like, okay, that makes a lot more sense. So then I used it, and I absolutely loved it. So I sharpen all my own knives, which I've been sharpening knives for probably the last 10 years, but I started doing a different style with the one-sided sharpening. I started doing a different style about 10 years ago as well, and then got into, you know, the thing that I really love about the Japanese knives are they're very specific in what they do. So each knife that they have is for a very specific purpose. Whereas, you know, American or French knives, they have, you know, the classic paring, boning, and chef knife, whereas Japanese knives, man, they have a knife for every different cut you can think of. They have their own knife for that. So I really started respecting that. And then just, you know, the edge was just so much nicer. You can get Japanese steel just much sharper than a Western steel. And then the other thing I kind of got into was Chinese cleavers. Traditional Chinese cleavers. There's a company called CCK that it's like Chin Chi Can, I think, and they make this Chinese cleaver for like 60 bucks. That it's a soft iron, but man, it gets razor sharp, and it is super thin, and just you can pretty much power through anything at just, you know, rapid speeds that you could never do with a chef knife. So yeah. So that's been my favorite.